As we prepare for this open, let's bring in Kenny Polcari, managing principal at Butcher Joseph Asset Management and the CNBC contributor. Kenny, good morning. So, I think back at times like this in the market where Ned Davis been looking at this market for 50 years. He says, don't fight the Fed and don't fight the tape. Those two things pretty much tell you you should be oriented in a bullish direction. Does that make sense to you, given what else we're seeing here in the macro scene?
Well, listen, it certainly makes sense because he's right. You can't ever fight the Fed. And if we're still having that conversation about this pending rate cut coming at the end of July, then I would suspect you might see the market back off a little bit today just because you had such a strong number. So maybe there's a question about, are they going to do it? Is it going to be 50? Is it going to be 25? What did the market expect versus what they think they're going to get now? And so therefore you may see some churn. But in the end, I think it's going to find plenty of support. Look, the other economic data is not as weak as everyone's making it out to be. I think the market, the economy feels like it's chugging along just fine. And so, therefore, I do think that there are better days ahead. But in the short term, there's a fair amount of noise, a lot of it around the report today, a lot of it around certainly trade, which will be ongoing. But look, if we get a trade deal in the next 25 days before the Fed meeting, you could see, in my opinion, the whole Fed cut rate thing come right off the table because strong economic jobs number, you get a trade deal that really looks like it's going to work. The Fed may take a second and say, you know what, let's sit back for a minute and see how this plays out. So I don't think it's over yet.
It's not over. That would mean we have still 3.5 weeks of suspense, right? We went into the July 4th holiday thinking, hey, we got this figured out. We're getting a rate cut, and maybe a trade deal is going to be on hold, but that'll come later. Right. But what if the trade deal happens in the next 25 days, right? Now, look, this morning we got news overnight that China goes, if you don't get rid of all the tariffs, then these trade deals, the talks could go backwards again. So once again, they're kind of creating some angst. They're creating some noise. They're stamping their feet a little bit. So maybe it feels like we're not going to get one by the end of July. So therefore, the Fed will go forward and cut, I think, 25 basis points. I think 50 is off the table. I think 25, though, is, if they do it at all, that's what it'll be. And the market will appreciate that. Maybe less, maybe they wanted 50, but they'll certainly appreciate 25, and we'll move forward. But look, next week's going to start earnings too. And there's lots of talk around what's been happening to estimates. They've been coming way down. And what's the future going to look like? So that's going to start to play in this as well. Yep, we got plenty to focus on next few weeks. Kenny, thank you very much.